Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and today it's my weekly comic book reviews for comics that came out June 26, 2013. A lot of comics this week. Unfortunately, though, I did run out of bags and boards right when I got back to my house after going to the comic book shop. I didn't realize I was out of supplies until I got back. So the comics don't have any bags or boards with them this week, so I'm gonna get more soon, so just bear with me here. Though it really doesn't make that much of a difference, just letting you all know, because I usually have them bagged and boarded when I do the reviews. Okay, starting off with DC Comics, Superman number 21. Pretty much in this issue, Hive abducts Hector Hammond, and during their whole abduction, they accidentally reawaken Hammond from his coma, and then he starts screwing with the minds of people of Metropolis, and Superman goes and tries to calm everyone down and stuff, and basically it's just a big lead into this whole Psy-War story arc that's supposed to involve Hive and Superman, and also I think this is going to involve Superboy as well. To be honest, I could care less about this story arc. If Hector Hammond's one of your favorite villains, or if you care anything about the Hive, then maybe you should give this story arc a shot. I don't. I could care less about either villain. So I think for a while I'm going to be dropping Superman, just because I'm done right now, and I already have Superman Unchained, so that's probably going to be my main Superman title for the next couple of weeks, months. Anyways, Flash number 21. Something we've wanted to see since the start of the New 52, the first official meeting between the Flash, Barry Allen, and Kid Flash, Bart Allen. Some things are revealed about Kid Flash, such as that Barry is somehow able to when he's in contact with him, he's able to get some memories which tell him that Bart is from another time period, in this case the future. Also, he's somehow able to detect that Bart's powers don't come from the Speed Force, so that way he knows the Reverse Flash won't be after Kid Flash. Although Flash tries to talk to Kid, tries to get him to reveal more, Kid refuses to listen. So obviously their relationship isn't really on a big kickstart pattern right now. Going to be on the whole instant connection right now. And meanwhile, while this is going on, the Reverse Flash has found one of the other victims from the Speed Force, Gomez, and he kills him. So there goes my theory that Gomez is going to be the Reverse Flash. And right after the Reverse Flash kills Gomez, he declares 3 down, 2 to go. So obviously he's talking about Flash and Iris West. Okay, Flash number 19. To be honest, this was actually a nice meeting between Flash and Kid Flash. I didn't really expect. The only downside about it is that Kid Flash really does come off like a jerk in this issue. He really doesn't trust Barry. He doesn't care who he is. He just pretty much comes off like this spoiled brat against Barry. If you've read Teen Titans, or I think the Kid Flash one-shot from DC Presents, you know he's not generally like this all the time. I just think that he is doing this because he wants to protect who he really is, and I think that does affect Barry in a way. And he's from the future, so obviously he wants things to remain. He might be trying to preserve his own existence here. But I think people who haven't read Teen Titans and who might be reading this and seeing the Kid Flash for the first time, they are going to get the feeling that he's a spoiled brat, but really he's not. He is a little different than in the pages of Teen Titans and stuff, but right now he's just very protective and not letting Flash know who he is. But yeah, I'd say right now the Reverse Flash part of this is still a little interesting, and I only recommend this issue just for that, the Reverse Flash story arc. Okay, next up, Aquaman number 21. Well, it finally happened. Aquaman meets the first king of Atlantis when Aquaman goes to the Bermuda Triangle to investigate where Mera is, and when he arrives, he sees the first king, and he's frozen Mera along with the people that were brought from Mera's kingdom, Zebul. And the issue ends with the villain who was selling all the Atlantean tech, the Scavenger, leading a fleet of subs to attack Atlantis. Okay, Aquaman, very nice. Throughout the issue, though, we not only see we kind of see the pressures Arthur is now that he's officially the king of Atlantis. There's still people who aren't really pro Arthur. They want to free, particularly some people still want to like have their own private cell. That want to go back up to the surface and free Orm, who they believe is the one true king. Also, we finally get to see Aquaman interact with the first king of Atlantis, who's pretty much the main antagonist of this story arc. Well, him and Scavenger. Although Scavenger right now he's attacking Atlantis, so I'd say right now he's probably a secondary antagonist for the story arc. But so far it's pretty good. I don't have really anything to complain about with this issue. So you know, hopefully next issue we'll get to some action between Aquaman and the First King. Alright, now Justice League number 21. This is the conclusion to the Shazam origin. Pretty much Billy is able to turn the tides in the battle against Black Adam by transferring some of his power to his foster siblings, who are pretty much become the new Shazam family, and they're able to use their powers to help save civilians who are being attacked by the 7 deadly sins of man, and also allowing them to save civilians so Billy can focus on taking the fight to Black Adam. Although during their fight, which leads to the zoo, Adam attacks Tawny the tiger, and when Billy tries to transfer some of his power to Tawny, something goes wrong, and because of that, and the way Black Adam described it is he misinterpreted the spell, so that now pretty much because of that, Billy's spell that transfers powers to his foster siblings, it's gone wrong, and their powers start to fade. And after that, Billy kind of tricks Black Adam into turning back into a human, and what happens is, because Adam's like didn't change back in 1,000 years, he's really old. And when I say old, I mean immediately when he says Shazam turns back into a human, he looks normal, but then a few seconds later he starts to go really old, and suddenly he dies of old age. And the next morning, Billy Baxton celebrates Christmas with his foster family, and while that happens, Dr. Sivana, who's been kind of helping Black Adam throughout this story arc, makes his way back to the entrance to the Rock of Eternity that Black Adam used, and there he finds a little bottle which contains Mr. Mind, who, if you don't know, is a mind-controlling, evil little caterpillar worm thing. Okay, Justice League number 21, because Shazam is a co-feature. This was pretty good. I really think that, although the flaw of this is that it was a co-feature in Justice League, and because of that, it took a while. I mean, it took a really long time to tell this origin, because it was a co-feature or a backup, whatever you want to call it. It was only a few pages in one book, and it's really slowed down. It really slowed the pacing of the story down. I would recommend checking this out in trade form, but overall, I think story-wise, it was good. I just wish that they could give Shazam his own series. I really do, because maybe if they did that, they could bring down the price on Justice League, maybe, and that way we wouldn't have to wait. It wouldn't be twice as long to wait for a full Shazam story instead of just. Yeah, I mean, if Shazam did get his own story, his own series, that would probably make the story arcs move a little faster. They'd be more enjoyable that way. But when I was reading this, the actual origin, I felt like it was going to be forever, and then finally we get to the full conclusion, which actually took up this entire issue of Justice League. I mean, really, I think this issue kind of proves that Shazam does deserve his own series. Okay, and anyone who did want to check out the origin of Shazam, I say wait for the train. I mean, if you were skeptical about it, because a lot of people didn't really like the backup features because like I said, it was pretty slow. So I think a lot of people gave some of the parts thumbs down. But overall, I think it was a great story arc. I do, however, recommend you don't get the individual issues and just wait for the trade to come out. I think it's supposed to come out this fall, either in August or September. Yeah, I think it might have been September. But nevertheless, Shazam, great series. It does deserve its own series. But overall, I really do think Shazam deserves its own series. The origin, it's a good story. Wait for the trade. Okay, now for a Justice League title that actually does feature the Justice League of America. Pretty much, well, from the way last issue ended, was Catwoman got shot in the head. Turns out it was actually Martian Manhunter the whole time. Well, not the whole time, just for part of it. Martian Manhunter pulled the whole switcheroo, and he took Catwoman's place, survived the bullet, and the rest of the team pretty much takes care of Shaggy Man, and Ivo almost gets ready to activate the engines of the Secret Society's manor, which causes it to move across the planet, and it's revealed that it's powered by time energy, which comes from Kronos, who in the New 52 is revealed to be an agent of Arcus. Excuse me. So pretty much the JLA, the manor's getting ready to move again. Green Arrow grabs Kronos, and the JLA are able to get out of the manor before it moves again. And apparently the way it works is it manipulates time so that rather than the mansion actually moving, it stays in the same place, but it just changes location because that's based on how the Earth rotates. It kind of makes more sense when you read it in the actual issue. But anyways, after the JLA leave the manor and it disappears again, they go back to base where Waller is about to disband the JLA until Steve Trevor convinces her not to, and then the issue ends with pretty much with Simon Boz, who you know as the new Green Lantern, being introduced as the new member to the JLA, and also Amanda Waller getting ready to make a deal with Arthur Light, who's pretty much turned into this whole light-based being who can absorb any kind of light energy. Because when Simon Boz and Bedig were on the base earlier, they noticed that energy from their Green Lantern rings was being drained by Dr. Light. Okay, Justice League number 5, Justice League of America number 5. I have to admit, the first story arc. So this is kind of like the first story arc. After this, we're going into Trinity War. It's convinced me to give this. I want to see where this series goes. I mean, I really do. I mean, the first story arc was pretty great. I liked it. So I think I'm gonna pick this up, see where it goes a little bit after Trinity War. See where it goes, and just see where it goes down the road, because I think this is going to be a regular title on my pull list now. And also, is that everything I want to say? Yep, that's everything I want to say about Justice League number 5. Pretty great. Highly recommend you pick it up if you want. Although probably you should wait for the first trade, because after this we're heading straight into Trinity War with all the Justice League titles next month. Okay, now for the last DC comic, Batman Superman number 1. This is pretty much the first part in a story arc where we see how Superman and Batman met for the first time in the New 52 timeline. Also, I should point out that this meeting, it does take place before the events of the first Justice League story arc. And to address that, Superman's back and Superman's wearing his t-shirt and blue jeans. Year Zero type of costume when he meets Batman for the first time, and also they fight. Also in this story arc, they fight an enemy who somehow teleports them to Earth 2, where Superman meets that Earth's Batman, and also that Earth's Jonathan Kent. Okay. When I was reading this issue, I thought the way Greg Pak set it up was pretty nice. We kind of see how Batman and Superman are similar by using the fact that they're both orphans. Superman because he's the last Kryptonian, and because this is after Jonathan and Martha Kent died, so he's an orphan in that sense. And Batman, well, pretty much you know Batman's origin, so that's self-explanatory. But the way he does it is he kind of addresses how they're similar. Then there's another scene where he shows how they're different, and when they first meet, and when they first meet as Batman and Superman, and when Batman's in Metropolis one night, at first Batman's trying to stop a possessed Catwoman from attacking this Wayne Enterprise board member, And of course, when Superman shows up, he automatically assumes Batman is a villain, mainly because of the way Batman looks. So yeah, that is interesting. But I think Greg Pak does a great job plotting and with the dialogue and everything, with the story, with the writing elements of this. My main thing I don't like about it, though, is the artwork. I mean, some of it's good, but other times I was just like I didn't really enjoy it in a way. It was just not terrible, but just I was just not feeling it in a sense. Like, I didn't feel like this was the type of artwork that works well with this story, if you know what I mean. But you know, right now, first issue wise, I think it's great. I'm willing to give this series the first story arc of this series a try, see how I like it. Hopefully this will be another good World's Finest title. And when I say World's Finest, I'm referring to the original Batman Superman team-up book. But hopefully this will be a success, because I like Batman and I like Superman, and I do like seeing them both together, teaming up like that. So yeah, if you can afford this issue, the first issue is $3.99. So if you can afford the extra dollars this week, I'd say give this first issue a shot. Okay. Okay, now it's time for Marvel. It's Scarlet Spider, number 18. Kane and Wolverine take on the Assassin's Guild. Enough said. If you like action, if you like Kane, and you like Wolverine, this book is for you. I think it's pretty great. The dialogue, the exchange of dialogue between Wolverine and Kane is pretty hilarious at times. The only thing I don't like about this book is, well, I think this was just kind of a misprint on their part, but there was this one thing that I think was supposed to be a 2-page spread, but when you get to it, it's just one half, like right here. Okay, you probably can't see it. Okay, yeah, you probably can't see it that well because of the lighting in my room right now, but yeah, I think it was just a misprint with this issue, because I think they had 2-page. There was supposed to be a 2-page spread, but if you have this issue and you get to it, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But it's supposed to be like a 2-page spread, but it's actually just one half of the spread on one side of the page and the other half on the other side, which is kind of weird. Which I thought was kind of weird, and I just assumed it was probably a misprint. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But nevertheless, lots of action in this book. Funny dialogue between Wolverine and Kane. Very funny. Very little humorous at times. So I'd say right now, pretty great issue. Definitely pick it up, especially since this one's only $2.99. Okay, next up, Captain America, number 8. Pretty much Steve's dealing with his brainwashed adoptive son, Ward, Ian. Ian's pretty much fully under Zola's thrall. He's pretty much supporting Zola's ideals rather than the one Steve taught him when he was raising the boy in Dimension Z. But you know, ultimately Steve is able to get through to his son. He's able to convince him, like, you know, whatever you do, it's your choice. It's not whatever I do. It's not whatever Zola wants. It's what you want. And that gets through to the boy, and Ian starts coming back. He starts calling Steve Dad again, and he's about to help him up when suddenly Ian, spoiler alert, Ian gets shot right through the neck and falls off the bridge that they're on in Zola's fortress. And then the last page reveals that the shooter is Sharon Carter. Okay, look, first of all, let me just say that I'm not really directly blaming Sharon. I mean, she's one of the best S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know who the boy was. She didn't know he was Steve's adoptive son. So, you know, obviously, and the kid was holding a gun to Steve's face, and Steve had a knockoff Captain America shield stuck in his back, and you know, she knew that Steve was in danger, so she just acted on instinct. So I'm really not blaming Sharon. I just really hate how they just killed Ian off. I was starting to like the kid. I wanted this kid to survive. Okay, I want him to go with Steve Rogers back to the regular dimension. I want them both out of Dimension Z. I want him to raise the boy in the actual Marvel universe, Marvel New York City. Want to see how the boy would react to everyday life, that sort of thing. I mean, maybe. I mean, again, comic books, death is a revolving door. Who knows? Maybe Ian survived, but wow. I mean, I really do hope that they retcon this or something, like say, oh hey, Ian's actually alive, yay! But I don't see that as a possibility. I think Ian's dead. He's not going to come back, which really sucks. Okay, because I did like that character. I thought it was a great addition to Steve Rogers' character. You know, I think Steve in that sort of father figure position was something that, you know, was compelling for the original Cap and Bucky, and of course all that took place in the Golden Age. Maybe that was some, and Golden Age comics are hard to come by now, so that might be something that a lot of people missed out on, seeing Steve in that position, and we could have brought that back with Ian. Unfortunately, not going to happen now. And that's another thing I don't like, how they pretty much kill a kid. Whenever a superhero has a kid, eventually that kid dies. First it was Liam Harper, Roy Harper's daughter, back in the Justice League story arc. I can't remember what the name was. Then there was Damian Wayne, but he had a good death. So, but still, I mean, come on, what's the big deal? Why can't we just let superhero? I mean, I understand they want superheroes to like have their own kids or something, but now they can't even adopt or have sidekicks now. Is that the deal? Seriously, stop killing kids. That's just all I want to say. Okay, but Captain America #8. I'm really not sure if I'm going to keep getting this title in a couple of issues or not. It depends on how they handle the whole conclusion with the Dimension Z and Zola stuff now. So I'd say right now Captain America's kind of on the... I'm kind of iffy on whether or not I'm going to keep it or not. Okay, next up, something I didn't hate and actually enjoyed, Nova Volume 5. Okay, Sam is able to get his helmet back from Titus. Then he pretty much space warps him and Titus back to where the Chitauri Armada is located, and threatens them all with the ultimate nullifier. Tells them to go back, leave this galaxy, or else he's going to use the nullifier on them. However, Titus doesn't believe Nova. He reaches for the nullifier and accidentally activates it, which destroys himself and the Chitauri ships. Immediately after that, Gamora and Rocket Raccoon show up, and they pretty much say, "Hey, good job, Sam. We'll take the ultimate nullifier now." And then Sam says, but Sam refuses to give it to them, and instead gives it to the Watcher, who he met back in issue 3. And then Sam returns to Earth. He talks to his mom about how pretty much his dad really was a Nova in the Nova Corps, and how he really was a superhero and stuff, and how all the stories that Sam thought weren't real were true. And Sam also tells his mom that, you know, he has a feeling inside, like a gut feeling or something, that his dad is alive out there, and he's going to try to find him. And the last page actually shows us that Sam's dad really is alive, but he's actually in this alien slave work camp. Nova issue 5. I liked it. It was a very nice conclusion to the first story arc with Nova. The new Nova, Sam Alexander. I like the character. I like how he's young, and I like how they kind of went back to the original Nova series, which was that we have a teenager here who's just been given a helmet that gives him superpowers, and now he's just kind of in this, you know, what am I going to do with this sort of thing. Or in Sam's case, he's kind of figured a few things out. He wants to now find his dad. The helmet wasn't really given to him by accident. It was more of something his dad wanted to pass on to him, in a way. But yeah, I think Nova is a great series. I mean, Jeff Loeb's doing a good job writing this title. I'm probably going to go back, I have all 5 issues digitally, so I'm going to go back, read all 5, probably read the entire story arc in its entirety. But right now, I don't know whether or not I want to get this issue by issue. I think I might stick to I'm definitely going to get this series in trade. I'm probably definitely going to get this series in trade form, rather than issue by issue, because I think I need to put some series on the wait for the trade list. You know, but yeah, Nova I highly recommend this. When the first volume comes out this fall, I definitely recommend people pick it up. It's really amazing. If you like the original Nova, I guarantee you're going to like this one. Okay, now for All New X-Men number 13. The original X-Men, you know, minus Angel, but they have Wolverine and Kitty Pryde with them, are able to track down Sabretooth, Mystique, and Lady Mastermind, who are actually meeting with Hydra in order to use the money they stole to buy control of Madripoor from Hydra. And the X-Men attack. Then the X-Men attack them. And during the fight, though, Lady Mastermind notices that Jean Grey is with them, and in order to avenge her father, who Jean drove crazy, and later he died, Lady Mastermind pretty much creates an illusion of the original Mastermind, of course, which we know that young Jean here already saw most of her timeline from when she met Hank McCoy telepathically, and so I guess is when she saw the original Mastermind, that immediately gets her mad, which somehow causes her to be surrounded by a fiery phoenix. Like, she's back in that whole angry and surrounded by a phoenix on fire type of deal. So yeah. So apparently Jean's angry. She's the most powerful telepath we know, and for some reason it looks like the phoenix might be back. Okay, maybe not. I mean, it could just be a way Jean expresses her rage, or an illusion by Lady Mastermind to convince the other X-Men that the Phoenix could be back and that they'll focus on attacking Jean. So, you know, I don't think the Phoenix is really back, but, you know, now Jean's kind of having to confront that issue with Mastermind, because don't forget, Mastermind pretty much manipulated Jean and used her power to try to kill the X-Men. Of course, Jean caught on, got her revenge. And I mean, anyone who read Dark Phoenix Saga should know this. Okay, back to the issue. Great issue right here. Good to see that the original X-Men have finally found someone to fight for once. And yeah, I like how they're evolving the whole Jean and Mastermind thing from the Dark Phoenix Saga, dealing with that with this issue. Also, there was some good stuff here about how you see the original X-Men react to the speech Havoc gave back in Uncanny Avengers number 5. Very great issue here. Highly recommend it for X-Men fans. Definitely should pick it up. Sorry, the throat's a little dry. Okay, next up, Daredevil number 27. Daredevil finally confronts the guy who's been pretty much been a pain in his ass for months now, trying to kill him and stuff. Bullseye, who's trapped in an iron lung. When Daredevil is about to attack Bullseye through this little window, which Bullseye can see, because Bullseye, when he was resurrected, apparently he can't. Apparently almost everything shut down in his body except his eyes. He can pretty much the only thing his body can do is just see. His brain's still functional, but all it can do, but the rest of his body is just completely dead except his eyes. So all he can do is see. He has figured out a way to communicate through his little iron lung. And Daredevil pretty much is getting ready to strike Bullseye right through his eyes, but then Akari attacks Daredevil. They fight until Daredevil is able to smell the toxic waste that Bullseye used to, try to create the Daredevil wannabes and Akari himself. So Daredevil leads Akari into that room, and he fights Akari. Then Lady Bullseye joins into the fight, and it looks like, but then Matt causes the ceiling of the room to collapse, which causes Bullseye himself to fall into the vats of toxic waste that are set up, which causes them to spill and everything, and also some of the waste actually spills into Bullseye's iron lung, and thus it renders him blind. And afterwards, though, Daredevil's able to defeat Akari and Lady Bullseye. Then all three are arrested, and at the end of the issue, Matt talks to Foggy about about everything that's happened and his final confrontation with Bullseye, it's kind of good for Matt because when he leaves, you see Matt getting back in his Daredevil suit and he's swinging along with the Billy Club and he's actually smiling a little. So yeah, really great issue. Daredevil, if you haven't heard it, it's one of the best series Marvel has out right now. I mean, Mark Waid is doing a killer job on this title. Seriously, I mean, if you read Mark Waid's title since issue 1 or the first trade, this issue is definitely worth picking up. It's amazing, very nice. Loved the fight. Loved what happened to Bullseye, though. I mean, that was just amazing how pretty much Bullseye can't see, so he's basically a potato. Or living vegetable. Whatever the term is. I don't think we'll be seeing Bullseye anytime soon, but he's going to be pissed if he ever does get a fully functional body again. So yeah, Daredevil number 27, definitely a buy. Seriously, if you like Marvel Comics, you should be picking up Daredevil. And finally, Young Avengers number 6. I'm really hoping I'm saying this name right. David Aline, aka Prodigy from the X titles, and Tommy Shepard, former Young Avenger Speed, meet at this sort of metahuman call center or whatever. They both are this weird metahuman type office place where they both have dead end jobs there, and they just meet. They start to form a friendship. Then one day there's a break in, and when Tommy and David see the footage of the thief who broke in, they see that he's wearing Patriot's original costume from like way back in the first Young Avengers story arc. That costume, and Tommy first calls Eli, tries to figure out, calls him like, dude, is that you? And of course he figures that of course when he calls, he realizes it's not Eli. Then Tommy and David decide to go on a stakeout the following night, and when they find the thief, apparently somehow the thief is able to disapparate Tommy's body. Like suddenly Tommy's there, then when he gets close enough, he suddenly starts like freaking out, and when he tries to run away, he just like basically turns to dust and disappears. Then David tries talking to the thief, and suddenly he starts to get terrified, and then the thief just disappears on him, and he's just left, and David's just left there kind of broken. Okay, not entirely sure what this was. I think this issue was just about trying to push Prodigy into joining the Young Avengers. Like, I think somewhere along the way we are gonna this might involve Prodigy with the team itself. So I think that's what Gillen's trying to Kieran Gillen, the writer, is trying to set up with this book. He's trying to push Prodigy into joining the Young Avengers, because when you read this title, you see that Prodigy is just basically done with the X-Men. Since the events of Schism and Avengers vs. X-Men, he's just basically done with the X-Men. So I think now they're trying to push him towards join the Avengers, or Young Avengers rather. I'd say, I don't know, if you care, I'd say if Prodigy was one of your favorite characters from the X-Men titles, or Speed was your favorite Young Avenger, maybe pick this up. Maybe. I'm just saying right now. I don't know what they're going to do with Prodigy. Maybe he's going to join the Young Avengers. Maybe not. I hope they do something with this. Probably with the next storyline, maybe. But I really hope that they do get Prodigy involved with the team, and they find out what happened to Speed and who the hell this thief is. Because we got nothing in this issue about who he is. Maybe at best you should wait. If you have been curious about Young Avengers, I'd say wait till possibly next issue to start picking it up. Or better yet, just read the first trade, which collects the first 5 issues, then probably wait till number 7. Okay. Alright, that's it. Alright, that's it for the weekly comic book review. Quick little recap. You get to see what young superheroes have for a dead-end job. Probably pass on it. Daredevil, number 27. Daredevil finally confronts Bullseye after the months of torment Bullseye's put him through. Definitely a buy. This is one of the best Marvel titles out there. Highly recommend you pick it up. Definitely a buy. All New X-Men, number 13. Pretty much, Lady Mastermind pushes Jean into confronting the whole Dark Phoenix issue. Probably only read it if you really like Jean Grey or if you really like the Dark Phoenix saga. Nova number 5. Conclusion of the first story arc. We see Sam with renewed hope, hoping new faith in his dad, newfound respect for his dad. He wants to find his dad. Really likes being Nova. Highly recommend you get the first story arc in trade. As far as the series is concerned, I would say if you want to get this series, then I'd say buy it. Captain America number 8. I'd say wait on it until we get to the conclude. I'd say right now just wait on this story arc, wait till it concludes, then I'm going to decide whether or not it's really worth buying. Scarlet Spider, number 18. If you like Wolverine, if you like Kane, if you like seeing them both take on a whole guild of assassins, this is definitely a buy. Batman Superman, number 1. How Superman and Batman met before Justice League. Definitely probably recommend it if you can afford the extra $4 this week. Other than that, the artwork alone kind of defeats the price. Isn't really worth the price. Justice League of America number 5. The conclusion of the first story arc right before Trinity War. Very nice. This book has a lot of action. Is really a little more action oriented than Justice League. Highly recommend. I probably say buy it if you like action and you're not currently satisfied with the current Justice League title. Justice League number 21. The conclusion to the Shazam origin. I would say wait till the Shazam origin trade comes out, then buy it. Don't really get the individual issues. Aquaman number 21. Aquaman finally confronts the first king of Atlantis. And the scavenger gets ready to attack Atlantis. So far this is a great issue. Definitely a buy. Next up, Flash finally meets Kid Flash. Learns a few things, but Kid Flash kind of acts like a jerk. So I would say buy it if you really like Kid Flash. And finally, Superman number 21. Hector Hammond gets freed by Hive. Leads into the whole Cyborg story. Like, I would say only get it if you like if Hector Hammond is one of your favorite villains or you really like the Hive. Other than that, skip it. Okay, that's it for my comic reviews for this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.